Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to another episode of an honestly very hard challenge. In the last episode, Nickole's final baby was born, and she's taking her striking appearance to mean that her family is finally ready for war. Lune's bright orange fur, it can only remind her of Kama and his family. So kind of like a flag hoisted above her head, she knows it's going to be a great reminder of the enemies that they have. I wonder if she's even thinking that Lune would actually make the perfect creature to head this charge. I know she's very young right now, and Nickole is just about to pass away too. This is going to be her final night. So all she can really leave her with is this mission. That being said, I'm sure that Nickole is going to try to find a way to guide her children in the future. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she comes back in some way. I know that her spirit is very, very strong. She's not ready to leave this island just yet. So sooner or later, I would imagine we're going to see her presence again. But regardless, Nickole, I guess all you can do is keep your family close tonight. And you know, since we have some other creatures in the water right now, we're actually going to come back to you in just a moment. Unfortunately for you, these creatures aren't quite so reckless. Not like your firstborn daughter. They've actually been keeping a very, very close watch over the water for leeches. We want to make sure that Morgana doesn't get stuck with one after all. So it looks like she should be able to claw her way to the shore quite easily. Let's have her jump past Longshot, and maybe go all the way up to the cliff tops here. Just where she used to sit with Awkward actually, before they went over to his previous home. This island turned out to only house Heartbreak for them. They lost their very first child together right here. The remains are still in that nest, and it seems like we're never going to return to the safe haven again. For some reason or another, Awkward, this place is only bringing you misfortune now. I still don't think it's really the Bandit brothers playing this sort of trick on them, because they're definitely not murderers or anything like that. They were very mischievous, very tricky, but they didn't want to see anybody suffer. So this is one thing that we can't really blame on them. I have been wondering if this bluebird is trying to guide them somewhere though. It seems like he's trying very, very hard to round up our creatures back to the mainland. I wonder if maybe this is even like a spirit of Awkward's ancestors? Since I'm sure they could probably fly just like he could before his other wing was injured. I wonder if maybe that's why he's sticking so close to Awkward. Well, either way, big guy, let's have you come up here right next to your mate. And I guess we'll just have her pick at the grasses for now. Maybe she's trying to gather up a little bit more nesting material, because I'm sure she doesn't want to give up having a family with you. One lost baby doesn't mean that their entire family is a lost cause. Maybe next time we'll have a little bit more luck. After all, Morgana is going to be keeping her eyes peeled for these healing fruits now. She'll probably want to settle down right next to one. We could have her return to the main camp too, since I'm sure she could use this healing fruit once it grows back. For that matter, I'm sure that she would love to meet our little mud puppy over here. Kit has a very, very similar appearance to the baby that they lost, just because of those pink markings underneath that muddy fur. You know what, Celestite? Let's actually have you go ahead and pick up this nest underneath there, because something tells me she would actually enjoy rolling around in the mud more. That warm nest is nice and all, but you know Kit is going to be a handful. If she was in the jungle, she would probably love rolling around in those mud puddles. In fact, you're probably lucky that we don't have any of them around here. Now, Longshot, I did notice that we're actually very, very close to the place where you used to pick up coconuts. I wonder if maybe we could have Adeline scoot on over here, so she could help guide you straight over to the shore again. Do you remember picking up these for Adeline and Aqua, back when they had first accepted you into their tribe? In fact, I think this is about where they first met, isn't it? This is where Longshot was wandering when his family abandoned him. So this is probably very, very nostalgic for you. You know firsthand how close-knit this family is. Even Clownfish out here who just couldn't bear to be separated from his sister. Now, your big brother Jericho doesn't know that you snuck away to the tide pools just to find her, so you're probably going to want to sneak back quickly. I'm sure that he would try to convince Aqua to go with him, and to be honest, that's probably in her best favor. It doesn't really seem like there are any clownfish out here either, or clown koi rather. She did find one very curious clownfish. Do you think maybe he could guide her to them? I mean, given their connection in name, and given his connection to the wildlife, I wonder if maybe he could summon the clownfish into the water. Maybe you would have better luck up by the streams, since this is always where you found them before. So yeah, I think that's going to be his excuse. We'll have him skid around back here so we can see a little bit more clearly, lighting up the ways straight past that gate and all the way up to the main clearing again. I'm sure that Awkward is probably going to want to get there fast too. He knows that a storm is definitely brewing, and this time he doesn't have to worry about the Bandit Brothers tricking him anymore. Not only has that confidence in himself helped, but it seems like they're trying to back off a little bit after all of the heartbreak he's faced. So Aqua, let's have you charge ahead, I guess. I know you're not going to want to get too far away from Addie though, so I think we're going to have you stay right there. Maybe we'll have you rustle around in the grasses a little bit too. Clownfish can tear down the weeds right around this bunny burrow, and I'm sure that all of that noise is going to alert you, Jericho. You're keeping a very close eye on things after all. Mars is up here just making sure that nobody tries to sneak into their territory. He's still a little bit concerned that maybe Nickole's threat wasn't empty. So he's the one keeping watch right now. And I guess he would probably be the one pointing Jericho back toward the trees. So we'll have Jericho slink around the oak tree again, crashing face to face into his sister once more. You just can't stay away now, Aqua, can you? But quite a bit has changed around here since you were last with the family. For starters, Jericho is the head of the family now. He's the leader, so he's the one keeping watch over every last part of the land. I'm sure she's going to support him well too. She knows all about his secret missions as a kid, so she knows he's very strong-willed. I can just see Jericho peering over her shoulder though, giving Clownfish one very, very hard stare. You know better than to just go wandering off on your own. There are still some very serious threats out in the darkness after all. And if that omen that he felt is true, what would they do if they lost him? They all need to band together right now, and surely he knows that. So Aqua is going to have to kind of be the mediator in this situation. Leave him alone, brother. It's really not so surprising that a child of his age would want to wander around. You did quite a bit of exploring when you were young after all, too. We can trust him. He's very strong and he's very brave-hearted. She probably appreciates that he was so worried about her. She knows that she can take care of herself, mind you, but she still appreciates the thought. Now, Celestite, let's just have you scoot on over here a little bit so you can give your baby some more room. And then I think we're just going to leave Mars right here. We could maybe have him sing out on the stump once, but I'm sure it's not going to matter too much. If we did that before, that could have been his warning call, to let Jericho know that he heard some invaders in the distance. Now, let's go back to Acadian next. We might as well save Nickole and her family for last anyways. And Acadian, you have tons and tons of meat to pick up over here, oh my gosh. 2 bunnies for you. And where did your friendly bear Yina go? Alright, it looks like Shadow is still nearby. You know, he is really reveling like a king here. He's feasting and he has this wide open kingdom all to himself. Even a throne for him to sit on top of too. I guess we'll have him sit on top of here for a little while, as we have him clear out an area for himself. Because I think it's about time that he settled down for good. The one thing that I'm concerned about though, I'm pretty sure that Shadow is just about to pass away. Berginas unfortunately have a very, very short lifespan compared to our creatures in this challenge. So it seems like he's going to be passing away much sooner than we anticipated. That's going to leave Acadian all alone now. I think, deep down, he really appreciated that Shadow never left him, so this is going to be all new territory for him. He always liked to say that he was on his own, but with Shadow by his side, that was never really true. Now he's going to feel what that really means. And I guess you are too, Stone. You've had so many thoughts swirling through your head lately, ever since you talked to your mother again. And now I'm sure you're really, really concerned, after hearing all these talks of war from Nickole. Let's have her daughters come right to her side. We'll have Pernille settle down next to her. We'll have Alara come over here, right next to the healing fruits that Nickole was so angry with her for destroying. But I guess it didn't matter so much after all. You know, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but a lot of you did connect Lune to the healing fruits themselves. She does actually look like she could be a little healing fruit in the nest, doesn't she? The bright orange fur, the dark red ram horns, almost like those red juices in the middle. It's awfully strange. I wonder if maybe she doesn't have the same sort of poison in her that Nickole and all of her babies do. I mean, she doesn't even have the scorpion tail. That has to count for something. She doesn't have a way to poison their enemies at all. But if war is not her destined path, then Nickole hasn't gotten the memo yet, because she still sees this as the ultimate sign. So I guess we'll have them all try to share some last acorns. Go ahead and try your hardest to crack them open for us, just so we can use up the remaining turns that we have here. As Stone pads over to her side too. I guess we'll have him settle down here, so he's super close to Nickole and his babies, so he can hear her whisper her promise in their ears, that someday she's going to return. Someday she'll guide them, even though she won't be physically here anymore. She'll guide them from beyond the stars if only they're willing to open their minds. Stone must be feeling an icy claw running down his spine right now. Is that just an empty promise, or does she truly mean that the Bone Keeper is going to live on? Will she never be satisfied until all the creatures who wronged her are gone? Until all of Comet's family is finally wiped away? It almost seems like peace is just going to be a far distant memory soon. But I think we should be ready to skip the day. Oh my gosh! And our little crabbit friend has returned! Oh my gosh, how sweet is that? Coming right out of the ocean again to greet you and Awkward. Oh, I thought we had lost him. I figured that crabbit that Clownfish found was probably the one that we knew before, but maybe his spirit has lived on too. Well, for now, we're going to skip the day as we watch Nickole and her family, as the Bone Keeper finally passes away, leaving the nest cold and empty, and leaving room for the storms to roll in. Well, there is no more perfect day for a storm in my mind. Lune, let's go ahead and give you your very first gem. We'll give you that silver color just like your mother, though you look so different from your siblings. You know, I'm sure that Alara and Pernille are probably going to want to go charging off into training very soon. They have to get ready for the war to come after all. They have to be prepared for when she finally sends her message. So let's have Alara charge off first. And in fact, you know what would be really fitting? I wonder if maybe they would take their training to the Forbidden Clearing. The very first place where we first saw one of the killer bear hyenas? Oh, and Mr. Peaceful Bear. You've come by to check up on the baby? That's awfully sweet of you. Stone, why don't you come on over here? You actually knew this Peaceful Bear, didn't you? I think that Stone was one of the ones who fed him originally. Oh no, when I hear Bunny stealing our berries. Do we even have any normal berry bushes? I mean, there's this one over here right across the stream, but I can't imagine that Celestite is going to be able to swim over here. Not to mention, she still has her baby to keep watch over. Let's go ahead and give Kit her first gem too. She'll have to have the golden color. There we go, Kit. You're looking better already, just like your big siblings. Alright, so let's have Stone go ahead and give him a little bit of nesting material, just to make sure that Lune is going to be safe. Stone has no idea what Nickole has in mind after all. He has no idea if her plan is even going to work. But he does know that Nickole can get a little bit carried away, so I guess he wouldn't put it past her to harm her babies anymore. I wonder if he would actually start calling her the Bone Keeper now. Not even Nickole, the creature that he fell in love with. She is simply the Bone Keeper. Some vengeful spirit so different from the creature he knew. I suppose a lot of that was only his own fault, though. He put her on this pedestal, and he never really saw her scheming ways. It makes you wonder, though. Like, do you think Nickole really loved him too? Like, deep down somewhere, past all of that ugliness, past all of that desire for power, she knew that she could trust Stone with her life. In fact, Stone was one of the very few creatures who even believed in her anymore, so I think she did truly love him too. There was some mutual connection there, even if it was hard to see. And even if we'll probably never see it again. Now it looks like we have a little bunny down there, but I think we're probably going to leave that be. In fact, I wonder if Alara would even notice it, since it's kind of hiding behind the cliffs right now. It's almost like the bunnies are trying to steal our healing fruits. Well, Alara, if we have you charge up here, you should be able to find a pathway to the Forbidden Clearing quite easily. And I know you're going to want to charge in before your sister for sure. In fact, as Pernille tiptoes her way deeper into the grasses, we'll have Alara burst in front of her, opening up that pathway so they can finally explore here in the next turn. It looks like there are still plenty of bunnies over here too, so you guys are going to have a lot of work to do. Oh, and Acadian, there's your next meal. But it looks like your Berryina friend is gone. I didn't see Shadow on the grasses, so he must have moved on a little bit further. Well, for now, let's just have you crawl out from your throne again. Oh, was that the peacock tail? Oh, excellent, so a little bit of extra good luck. Maybe that means that you will actually attract a wanderer your way someday, and it couldn't be a moment too soon. Oh, and little Kit. My sweet little mud puppy, you must be loving the weather right now. There is no way that she would sit still. Let's have her toddle out from the mud over here, probably trying frantically to find some more. Are there any roots around here? I wonder if maybe Celestite could dig some of these up for you. I guess we'll probably have to wait for the next turn though. We'll have Mars go ahead and focus on the food for now. Ah, that was where the bunnies were stealing the berries. Yeah, so it looks like they have actually created a little community out here over on the other side of the stream, thriving in the absence of our tribe mates. So down you go, Mars. Just for a moment, we'll have you focus on collecting all of the acorns that you can, and then we'll just leave Celestite right here. She could probably use a little bit of time to rest anyways. It's not as though it's going to be very easy for her to chase around a baby at her age. It's a wonder that she can even keep up with her at all. Okay, if there was any question who this bluebird was connected to, then I think we can definitely put that to rest. This is definitely a spirit of one of Awkward's ancestors. It's almost like they're trying to keep the remains of that baby safe, watching over her and guiding her path to the afterlife perhaps. Maybe there is still some hope that you two will find a dream baby after all. And you know what, Awkward? Since we're here, why don't we go ahead and have Morganite breed with you? Or should we? Do you think you would be more concerned about getting her to safety? I mean, we are right on the shore, the storm is brewing. You know what, Morganite? You better actually go charging through the grasses. We'll catch up to you in just a moment. It would be nice if our little crabbit friend would follow us too. I wonder if maybe this is even the Bandit brothers communicating with him? Do you think maybe they can take control of the crabbits too? They're mortal enemies. But if the time calls for it, I guess that could be their way to apologize. I'm not sure that Awkward would really be willing to listen though. He's had enough of the Bandit brothers tampering with his life. Alright, Longshot. Let's bring you on over here so you can grab this extra little coconut. And we'll see if maybe there are a few more over here too. Perfect, so you'll actually have a nice big gift to bring to the mainland, over to Jericho and all of his family. Just like old times, right, Addie? And with the argument quelled between them for now, all we can really do is bring Clownfish over to the tree as well, so everybody can take shelter beneath the branches. It'll probably be a little while longer before the storm actually settles down. Well, and one day it's going to be sunny. Okay, a very short-lived storm then. So soon enough you can go to the streams and see if you can finally Clownkoi together. Today is just going to be about reuniting with your family, I guess. And with that, we should be ready to skip the day once more. So, once again, let's actually go straight back to you, Stone. I want to see if maybe we're going to catch a glimpse of Nicole's very first omen. Any sign of her lingering in the darkness yet? Any sign of her presence at all? It looks like everything is quiet for now. So you still have a few more moments of peace to enjoy, and a few more moments for eldest daughters to train. Alara even has her third and final gem, so that means it should be much easier for her to track down those bunnies. Let's have Pernille go ahead and jump on the stump right here, so we can light up the entire way for Alara. As far as you know, you're the very first creature to set your foot down in this clearing, ever since the killer Berryinas first arrived. That was why this clearing was considered to be off limits. It seemed as though it was cursed in some way. This was clearly the Berryinas' territory. So all we can do is hope that they won't come for you again. I suppose for now, since the bunnies are a little bit too far away for her to catch, we could have her come on over here. Well, that's a little bit of bad luck. I guess you could have actually caught that bunny. I was so sure that he was going to skitter away. Oh, and that's right. I completely forgot that we had another one of the healing fruits out here. Oh, how curious. This was actually the healing fruit that the Berryinas basically stole for themselves. I believe it was also the very first healing fruit that Celestite found. Wasn't that where she was originally going to make her home? It's very vague, but I think this was where Comet and Celestite intended to start their family together. Actually, this was even where they found that orphaned baby. So quite a few mysterious powers are watching over this clearing right now. Let's see if maybe this is where Nickole is going to show her face. We'll have Pernille go ahead and clear out the weeds around her. That way it'll be easier for her to see too. And as for you, Stone, though I'm sure you're still chilled to the core, you can't deny that this is a very peaceful time for you and your baby. It must actually be nice, you know, to get the chance to know his baby without Nickole's presence looming over him. He doesn't have to worry about teaching her to be strong or fearless. He just gets to watch her grow, which he didn't really get the chance to do for his other daughters. I feel like he's really going to teach her differently. Teach her a little bit more like how Sheba taught him. With the Bone Keeper's remains still settled between them, he's not going to completely disregard the war, of course. But he will encourage her strengths rather than just demanding action. So a little bit of a more nurturing approach. Something that Nickole was never very good at. Now, Acadian, please tell me that Shadow is around here somewhere. He didn't already pass away, did he? Surely he would have come over here if he smelled that meat. He always does love a good lunch after all. Oh no. Don't tell me he passed away all by himself in the darkness. He probably didn't want you to see, huh? He didn't want you to see that he was getting so weak? Oh, that is going to break your heart if you find his remains out here. But it's better you than a bluebird. In fact, we're very, very lucky that the bluebirds are still way over here instead. They are never going to see the Bergina meat from here. This one is a little bit too preoccupied anyways, and looks like they finally helped that baby move on to the afterlife. And maybe they've given you another chance too, Awkward. So now that the storm is far behind us, and as we have a long shot skitter on over here to pick up the extra coconuts, we'll have Addie return to her friend too, so she can meet up again with all of her family. Let's have Morgana and Awkward try again for one more baby. Oh, that time it worked right off the bat too? Excellent, so despite that low fertility, that has to be a very, very good sign. Well, again, I'm sure that Celestite wouldn't mind offering up her healing fruit over here, so let's have you two return. Unless maybe we try a different approach. I wonder if Morgana would actually want to use this healing fruit over here, the very same one that she discovered with Awkward before they started their journey. That would be a little bit more poetic, wouldn't it? Maybe it's not beneath the shelter of one of the trees, but it's theirs, you know? And I guess the safe havens were never really safe for them, so they're going to try to make this place their home instead. We'll just have to make sure that Morgana doesn't get too close to the water. That being said, I'm sure she has conquered at least a little bit of her fear of the ocean, so having the waves lapping against the shore every day might actually be a little bit more of a comfort. It'll remind her of some of the more harrowing adventures that they had together. Oh, I guess Mars is getting more distracted by the minute. Not only does he have plenty of acorns to pick up now, but he has plenty of new faces to say hello to. So you're going to be quite busy for a while. We'll have Jericho go ahead and continue his duties, picking up the grasses, widening the paths, and that just leaves Clownfish to go ahead and guide Aqua over to the streams. Right over here, I guess. We might as well start over here first. We know that this is usually a really good spot for us to find some snacks. Now last but not least, if we skitter Celestite over this way, she should be able to reach all of these big patches of roots. So we'll see if you can dig up some extra fresh mud on the next turn. It seems like Kit is probably getting a little bit restless now. Oh, and look at this. A nice fresh bunny sitting right in the middle of the two sisters. This is probably the perfect test for them, to see which one of them will be able to jump out and get it first. Did I just hear something spawn though? That sounded eerily like a growl. Oh no. Oh, Acadian, that is not your friend. Oh no, so much for finding Shadow. Now that his bodyguard is gone, it looks like the killer Berginas have returned. Returning to you, Acadian, how strange. I wonder if it's caught a scent of you yet? For that matter, what on earth are we going to have you do? You're going to have to run, right? Alright, let's have you start tearing your way through the grasses then. We'll bring you up here. Jump into the nest, I suppose? I wonder if that's going to be far enough away. And with those bunnies following you too. Oh, you little traitors. You're going to lead the bear hyena straight to us. Oh, and straight to the scorpion sisters too. You know, it makes you wonder. Was that actually the sign that Nickole was talking about? If they see a killer bear hyena with their own eyes, those blood red eyes that they possess, it always reminded me of Nickole herself. I wonder if they would actually believe that that's Nickole's spirit. And you know, that might not be that far off the mark. How ironic of a twist would it be if now that she's ascended to the stars like the rest of our deities, she has the power to control the killer bear hyenas. Now, killer bear hyenas are nothing like Anime's trials. Their only purpose is to destroy. It's less of a test of our tribe's resilience and a little bit more of a threat, like a message to signal our tribe's imminent doom. So, I don't know, I kind of like the thought of our bone keeper keeping the killer bear hyenas. And if their presence will start the war, then so be it. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!